Prudential shut down Assurance IQ after they paid $2.3 billion for that company back in 2019. So what exactly does this mean? There's going to be a lot of insurance agents who are hurting over this and already are. However, for some agents, for some of the life insurance agents especially, this could actually be the very best thing that could have potentially happened to them. And I'm going to explain here in just one moment. I'm Doug Massey, and today we're going to be talking about, one, what happened and why they closed down Assurance IQ after spending all that money on it. Two, why this is actually going to be really good for some life insurance agents. And when I say really good, I mean like it could be like a complete game changer, like a life game changer for some of these agents. Three, what does this say about the life insurance industry and the recent regulation changes? What about that? And four, does this actually have anything at all to do with that December 13th FCC ruling? Remember that, guys? Back at the end of last year, in reference to that one-to-one consent rule for contacting anybody who fills out a lead form. You know, we've been talking about this for a while, how this is going to affect things, but did this actually affect them? Before we get into it, guys, please like and subscribe if you're a new viewer. We're putting out new insurance sales training videos and final expense sales training content like pretty much every week. And if you'd like a copy of the free new agent telesales super file, this thing's pretty awesome, guys. It's got a lot of sales materials. If you want to be like a life insurance telesales agent or a final expense telesales agent, stick around to the end of the video and I'm going to show you how to get this for yourself. So let's address why I think this could actually be really good for some of the old Assurance IQ agents. And you know, really the bottom line is it depends on, well, are they talented or not? In other words, do they have skill or not? And here's my thinking. This is kind of the upside. They're going to be forced to look at different options. And this is where they're going to find companies like me. So like with us, we really specialize in telesales, final expense telesales, but the thing that's different for our agency is our agents are actually expected to sell at an abnormally high level. And it's because of the system. I mean, you know, when you've got 20 to 30 appointments every day, you're expected to make a lot of presentations and therefore an abnormally large amount of sales. So when you get an agent who's talented and now they're looking for work and they find a company like ours where, you know, we're actually going to pay them really, really good commissions. You know, of course they're going to have to pay their own way, but the upside, the potential in the upside is so huge that I think these are the agents, when they find agencies like ours, not just ours, but there's others too, they're going to do really well. It's going to take them from, you know, what they're used to, maybe making like $80,000 a year to potentially making $200,000 to really even over $300,000 per year, which to me is such a huge upside. It just makes sense for these agents to do really, really well. You know, they're basically thrown back out there. They got no choice. So there's going to be a lot of those agents that are good that are going to find good agencies to work with. So what actually happened with that Assurance IQ platform? Well, as I mentioned, back in 2019, Prudential paid like $2.3 billion with a B for a remote insurance agency. That's basically what they did. You know, they bought this insurance agency that does Medicare and life insurance, and all the agents are remote. To me, the big fail was that a lot of these salespeople weren't what I refer to as professional. Probably half of them weren't that good. And don't take this wrong, guys. I know we've got a lot of really talented insurance sales professionals in our industry. I truly believe that most insurance agents don't have the skill set. They haven't done the work on themselves, and they're just not really what I refer to as professionals. So when you spend $2.3 billion on a company like this, and more than half of the agents probably weren't trained properly and or just didn't have the skill set, the upside is limited. Here's a funny thing. One of the things I heard a couple of years ago was that right after they made this big acquisition, you know, they purchased this company, Assurance IQ, there were like whispers inside the corporate that, well, things weren't what they expected. Some people were kind of going, uh-oh, did we make a big mistake or what? And I really feel like that's when the real downhill part started to happen. So, and here we are almost 5 years later and they're done. So let me just pull up this termination letter and read it to you. And the termination letter reads, Notice of termination. Dear insurance agent, it's got the insurance. They all got this letter, just so you know. As you are aware, as of April 30th of 2024, Assurance IQ LLC has ceased new business activities and is in the process of winding down its operations. Thank you for all you've done as a licensed insurance agent with Assurance IQ to help shoppers obtain insurance coverage to improve and protect their personal and financial well-being. This letter serves as a formal notification of the termination of the master service agreement and the addendums or work orders agreement that you entered into with Assurance IQ. Assurance IQ will pay commissions for all policies submitted prior to the termination of the agreement that are in force or pending as of May 3rd, 2024. Additionally, Assurance IQ intends to provide immediate releases of your carrier appointments to you by May 10th of 2024. Thank you again for all that you have done, and we wish you the best. Sincerely, Chris Hakim. So there you have it. Terminated. It's done. Now, does what happened to Assurance IQ and their agents have anything to do with that December 13th FCC ruling about all the clients, the leads, having to give one-to-one consent? So what does that exactly mean? And a lot of agents seem to think because a big part of it was to deter the robocalling, that it's only for robocalling. No, guys, it's in black and white, okay? The bottom line is leads can't be worked by multiple agents or resold unless they click a consent form stating that this agent can call it, this agent can call it, this agency call it. So the bottom line is that highly affected them, not only because the agents couldn't call leads over and over, and really, I'm not even sure if they were. I don't think they were, but I do know one thing about Assurance IQ. Part of their business was when they would generate a lead, they would resell it. And they'd give it to their brother and sister companies. So when you're making a lot of your profit off of that part of the business and you're owned by a company like Prudential who is going to stick with the rules, they're not going to violate anything, you just lost a big part of your business. And the fact that they were already bleeding money didn't help things. So to me, the smartest thing they could do really was, as soon as they found out about that FCC change, you know, the ruling about the one-to-one consent back in December, they should have shut everything down right then and there. Guys, if you're with an agency that's using outdated sales methods and leads, you may be in big trouble because they're not going to make the changes necessary. They're not going to do what Prudential does. A lot of these smaller agencies are going to keep using the same old systems and leads, even if they're not compliant. I mean, think about it. When you're making millions of dollars, or even like if you're a small agency and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you have to change everything and you know it could put you out of business, you're going to take the chances. And that's what these guys are doing. I hate to say it. So buyer beware. You may be wrong. You may be with an agency that could end up literally putting you in big trouble. In your market, the market that you're selling to, if you don't understand why they give objections, exactly why, you may be in big trouble too. And guys, the reason I'm saying this is, once again, I've come to the conclusion years ago that most insurance agents are just that. They're insurance agents. They're not professional salespeople. Become the smoothest, I like to use that word, the smoothest sales professional closer that you know. Be that person. Become that person. Make sacrifices. Work your butt off, at least for the first, I want to say, few years or several years. And guys, eventually, you know what's going to happen? You're never going to have to sacrifice anything ever again. I hope you guys got something out of this video. If you'd like a copy of the free New Agent Telesales Super File that has all that killer sales material in it, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com if you'd like more information on working with us on our remote telesales platform where you get all those killer appointments every day. Just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there or get on that headset, and whatever happens, make sure that you do something really good for someone else today. Happy hunting.